What if I told you that films are normalizing societal decline while also contaminating the earth in which we're living? Hello you, human on the other side of the screen. My name is Roberto, and the trees, yet another fellow human being. But just like you, I am many other things. For the purpose of this video, I am an ecological filmmaker from Chile, based in Berlin. But why am I here? Ever since I'm a kid, I've wanted to make films. Right after pouring my heart out to The Lion King, my first cinema experience, I was able to see the tremendous power that these moving images had. I feel like the movies that inspire me the most were those in which the character will go on a journey, in which they will come out as better people. It was important for me that by the end of the movie, you had learned something new. Growing up in Chile in the 2000s, to me it felt like there was no way out of developing some sort of social or environmental consciousness. There was always a protest to go to. There was always something going on in which I felt this is important. Whether it would be against the high cost of living, education, health and pensions, or against social inequality and the extreme lack of policies to protect our environment, it became clear to me that even as a pacifist, these were all fights that had to be fought. And because all of these demands intersected with each other on the same shared soil, I began to look at climate justice as the most holistic approach to addressing both social and environmental issues. I thought to myself, this is where I draw the line. So writing my last year of film school, and while every script that I was writing was including some kind of element to generate environmental awareness, I came to learn about something that was gonna completely turn my world upside down. I ran into this article from The Guardian in which I learned that in Los Angeles, California, the film industry was the second most polluting industry right after oil refining. More so than the aerospace industry, than the fashion industry, and the hotel industry. I was in shock, but it made sense. From the moment you start unloading an idea into reality, there is a significant use of resources. From development, with all its consumption of paper, to pre-production, with the construction of sets, all the way to filming, which involves, among many other factors, excessive use of electricity, mobilization for cast and crew, equipment and production necessities, from catering filled with bottled water, plastic cups, to special effects with their explosions, their invasive nature on locations, and overall just loads of waste. I was mind totally broken after learning about this. I could either give up on filmmaking, or I could go on and try things differently. I decided that I was gonna become an ecological filmmaker. Back then, I had recently gotten a second-hand Canon 7D. This one was my first camera ever to shoot HD video, but this wasn't enough. After 1 month of working as a waiter in Santiago, I got myself a solar grid. Nothing too fancy, just a solar panel with a battery, an inverter, and I was ready. Together with my lovely brother Juan Pablo, in 2013, we founded FEN, meaning seed, in the language of the native Chilean Mapuches. FEN would become an ecological film collective with a mission to restore and to regenerate the ecosystems of our Earth, making films causing the less environmental harm. From the use of renewable energies to charge lights and cameras, to a zero waste code policy on set, organic and plant-based catering, and all the way to just riding bicycles to move around as a way of avoiding fossil fuels. We were quite active on this for a while, until my always present desire to travel the world was met by an opportunity. As a kid, I always wanted to go on an adventure, filled up by some stories from my dad. That adventure became going to Europe and slowly travel the continent while working and living and exploring its diversity. In 2015, I was able to go and live in Germany for a year, thanks to a working holiday visa. And of course, it was not just a year. In a colorful and insightful span of 6 years, jumping from one visa to the next, I lived in Germany, Denmark, Sweden, Turkey, Greece, and Hungary, among other places. And while my life before this point already felt a little bit like a movie, these years of traveling took a whole new cinematic level. So much so that I didn't even feel like making films. Instead, I was invested in my love for making music, my desire to experience new things, to explore my social skills, and to see other ways of living, and to get to feel like a local of a community in a foreign land. Okay, so you may be thinking I totally drifted off topic here, but I did say at the beginning that I was just yet another fellow human being, so bear with me. My point is that without delving into details, I found myself stuck in Chile for over a year, in the same room where I grew up and where most of my dreams had begun. I felt depressed. As I looked around, the world seemed like one of those post-apocalyptic films I had often admired in cinema. Have we imagined this into reality? Reflecting on my life, I began to notice various parallels between the media I consume, films, TV shows, music, and my own experiences. More and more, I was convinced. What you see, what you internalize, that is what you get. And it was here, for me and my brother, Sven, an idea started to shine. In a world overrun by fear-based narratives, the most punk thing we could do was to be radically optimistic about the future. So when COVID restrictions were eased, we managed to come together and a movie was filmed. Mar y Cielo became the first carbon-neutral short film of Latin America and Chile. We were so lucky to find a talented and beautiful group of people to help us make this film. This project became our proof of concept that we could make award-winning, high-quality films with a very small environmental impact. Mar y Cielo is a hopeful story of reconciliation between two brothers during a social and environmental crisis that for years has set them apart. If you're interested in watching this short film or any other work from Fen, you can find links in the description. A few months after making Mar y Cielo, I was able to come back to Berlin, finally. Of course, as an immigrant with just an intermediate level of German, it's been quite a journey. This brings us to now. If we were to wrap up cinema's history right now, we would see how most of it has managed to normalize societal decline while making a mess on the way. And although it may seem at times that there's no turning around, there is a solution. I believe we have everything we need to imagine differently. I believe that through fusing sustainable practices in filmmaking and daring to be radically optimistic about the future, we can normalize kindness and utopia instead. I believe in regenerative filmmaking, where every idea is like a seed, and by the final film, it is a tree, healing ourselves and the earth. In this ever-changing world, now more than ever, I feel like we need to question how we produce. Not just our clothes, or food, or our furniture, but also our movies, our music, our art. And in the unstoppable expansion of AI, not just that, but how we can use art to cultivate vulnerability and connection. How we can use art to relate with each other. So, why am I here? In YouTube, I mean. I am here to share everything I know by making. I am here to embrace my inner child's dreams and hopes while inviting you to come along. I'll be sharing with you all that which can be relevant for your own path, maybe as an activist, as a fiction writer, as a director, an ecological filmmaker, or simply as yet another fellow human being. Here in this channel, you can expect tips for your own sustainable movies, updates on my upcoming film projects, spoken thoughts from a climate positive future, memories from travels, thoughts from the now, or maybe even a song.
1, 2, 3, sí.
So, if you're with me already, thank you. I think you're in for something. And if you're not, that's okay too. I don't want to do this alone. And I believe that the only way forward is together. So if there's anything that has resonated with you from what I said, let me know in the comments. Perhaps we can take a deeper dive on an upcoming video. So yeah, let's see where this channel goes. Much love.
I request some time to stay. I request some time to learn. Stay.